Welcome to SEEZELIFE Studio. Thank you all for being here. If you're a part of the SEEZELIFE family, welcome back, and if you're new, I hope you enjoy this video. It's going to be really unique because I'm doing some voiceover work on top of the video and the pictures that I took while I was in California this summer. I'm still learning how to do all this editing, so I hope that you enjoy this new experience for me. I actually flew to Los Angeles in June. I rented a van, and then I proceeded to drive about 700 miles throughout the Southern California region. I didn't have an itinerary. I just, went where the road took me. And as you'll see, there's a lot of cool and unique explorations throughout that journey. So buckle up and come along with me for the ride. So I flew from New Orleans to LAX, round trip, for $180. I bought my tickets through Spirit Airlines about 2 months in advance. Once I got into LAX, I got my rental from Budget, which was a Chrysler Pacifica, the perfect vehicle for one or two travelers who's looking to sleep in it because they have stow and go seats, so the entire back lays flat. And then from there I made my way over to this Mexican restaurant. One of the big goals of the trip was to have as many California burritos as possible, which, if you know anything about a California burrito, it's made a very specific way with French fries. After I left El Tarasco, I started heading down the beach through some of the local beaches and getting out and checking out some of the towns and the piers and just some of the natural beauty that was out there. After that, I started going toward the San Pedro Long Beach area, which is the biggest port in the Western Hemisphere, and that port does 29% of all the shipping activity throughout the United States. Leaving Long Beach, it was starting to get close to nightfall, so I made my way down the beach boulevard for another hour or so until I wound up in the Laguna Beach area, where I set up shop for the night and did some stealth camping. Alright, we made it to Thousand Steps Beach. First morning in California. This is in Laguna Beach area. But here we are, just in time for sunrise. Wow. Look at those cliffs. What a life. So there's a cave back here at the end of Thousand Steps Beach. One of the best views in California is going to be from inside that cave. This is from within the cave, and it is unbelievably gorgeous down here. As you can see, multiple scenic openings. While I was there, I actually filmed a short clip that I put on YouTube, and I'll put a link above. But after I finished seizing life in the secret cave, I walked the 218 or so steps back up to the car, and from there I drove down the beach on Highway 1 until I reached Del Mar to go see some local surfing. Early mornings, Del Mar, California, watching the surfers. So leaving Del Mar, I headed south for about 15 minutes or so until I got to the Torrey Pines glider port. The glider port is a really special place. I don't know how many glider ports they have in the US, but this one in particular is very popular in the SoCal area. I got here in the hope that I may actually get to do some paragliding, a tandem paraglide experience, but the wind, unfortunately, was really high speed all morning, and so they didn't end up letting anybody fly that morning. But I did enjoy my time here. I got some great video off the cliff area, as you'll see, and I did buy a glider port hat to show my support. After spending a couple hours at the glider port, I actually made a couple of stops heading south. The first one was to the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, which you'll see next, and then I headed down to La Jolla Cove, which is just a stunning area. One of the really cool things that I love about traveling is I don't always know the route, so as I'm driving, I may encounter a place that I did not expect to stop at, and the Scripps Institution of Oceanography was certainly one of those places. Scripps Institution of Oceanography is now part of University of California, San Diego, founded in 1903, and it was a biological research laboratory. They did a lot of studies of the interaction of the oceans with the atmospheric climate and other environmental concerns. But in 1960, they merged with University of California, and so now the San Diego location is the southernmost of the California campuses. Even along the beach, there were these cages that were marked and tagged, probably doing some type of experiment on the rock and the coral and the sea life that comes up on shore. This entire experience was really neat. Alas, I've finally made it to the breathtaking La Jolla, just north of the San Diego area. I'm going to take you down into Sunny Jim's Sea Cave, which was actually a bootlegger's tunnel that was dug out through rock in the early 1900s. The tunnel was very small. The overhead clearance was less than 6 feet. I was bending my head down. There was wet rock everywhere, and you could tell that this was something that really was from a different time and era. As I walked to the end of the boardwalk, there was a sea lion perched atop a rock having a nap. And I enjoyed my time down there, looking out over to the peaceful ocean. All in all, it was worth the $10 to walk down the 150 or so crickety old stairs, and I highly recommend it. Being this close to a sea lion was pretty wild, far greater than any zoo experience, being that it was in its natural habitat. The size is hard to see from behind the camera, but it must have been 5 to 6 feet long and weighed several hundred pounds. The California sea lion. And of course, before leaving La Jolla, I made a last stop at a local taco shop to get another California burrito. Hopping back in the van, I left La Jolla, driving down the beach through Mission Beach and Pacific Beach, passing through Coronado Island, which is a very, very beautiful, clean area, and finally wound up at Imperial Beach, which is just over the Mexico border. I stayed for a beautiful sunset, just absolutely gorgeous and breathtaking, before finally finding my home for the night, which was just around the bend from Mexico. Bienvenidos to Borderfield State Park. There are hiking trails, and there's a campground. It's a very interesting place. This is the Mexico border. This is the wall. Pretty wild. So I've made it to the US-Mexican border. This is south of Imperial Beach or north of Tijuana. And looks like they have a sliding gate right there. That wall looks to be about 30 feet high or so. And they have a chain link fence here that says no trespassing. So what we're looking at is the Pacific Ocean over there. And essentially right over here is the most southwest corner of the United States. So right before this video clip, I actually had a Border Patrol agent come up and check on me. Even though this is a state park and everything I was doing was completely legal, apparently they don't see a lot of visitors. And so after just a quick looky-loo, I decided that it was about time to move on. There's only so long you can stare at a border wall for. But this was a bucket list thing for me to do. I've always wanted to reach all four corners of the United States, and this is number 3. I have one left. Leaving Borderfield State Park Beach, I wanted to take a very specific route, not on interstates, so I found a highway road that took me through Borrega Springs and then the Salton Sea, which is a really fascinating place that you'll see next, before finally catching a back road to Joshua Tree National Park. This is the way that I like to travel when I'm on a road trip. I prefer to stay away from the interstate and the fastest route available. But here you'll see that this is the Anza Borrega Desert, which is the largest state park that covers over 600,000 acres. The drive was magnificent. There was rarely anyone that I passed, and there was all different types of terrains. The name Anza Borrega came from a Spanish explorer, and the word Borrega actually is Spanish for bighorn sheep. This is Borrega Springs, where I popped in to catch some lunch, another California burrito. If you've made it this far in the video, please go ahead and consider giving me a like or a thumbs up, and possibly even a comment. Let me know what you think about this desert and if this is a type of place that you'd ever visit. The Salton Sea Beach. This place was unique beyond the imagination. I felt as if I was in the scene of Mad Max or the Book of Eli. It was deserted, for lack of better words, but also just didn't seem like there was a lot of life. In researching about this place, apparently there's less than 500 people that live here, and this Salton Sea is 250 feet below sea level, extremely high salinity content, not good to swim in whatsoever. But hopping back on the road, this was the last back trail highway before reaching Joshua Tree National Park. right, made it to Joshua Tree National Park. This is the southernmost entrance. No Joshua trees yet. I just put a link up on the screen for a time-lapse compilation video. I actually slept on top of the van so that I could look at the stars all night, and I even caught glimpses of the Milky Way galaxy. Joshua Tree's certified an international dark sky park because there really is no ambient light. Overall, this place was one of a kind. One of the best national parks I've ever been to, because the landscape is so unique. These big boulders, just this very desert feel with all these really cool trees that I'm not sure if you can see anywhere else in the world. Certainly worth a visit. If you're ever in the California area, highly recommend. Don't miss Joshua Tree National Park. One of the last segments of the journey before heading back into the city was to Silverwood Lake. Silverwood Lake is a recreation area. It's a reservoir. It's about 3,000 feet up in elevation. It's also a popular spot for hikers who are on the Pacific Crest Trail. Similar to those hikers, I chose to stop in so that I could swim and take a shower. Just parked at the Silverwood Lake parking lot. Very calm today out here. Now I'm walking down to do some swimming, hopefully get a nice shower in. Stay tuned. Also, while I was there, I met some Department of Transportation workers. Shout out to Alfredo if you're watching this video. It's nice to meet you, brother. And lastly, the final stretch back to the city of Los Angeles. I made my way to the Hollywood Sign trailhead and did a beautiful hike that overlooked the city of Los Angeles, Burbank, Beverly Hills, the Hollywood area. It was an overcast day, much like the trip, which made for cool weather, great for hiking. To reach the pinnacle of that hike and see the Hollywood sign was a memory that I will always treasure. So many wonderful, incredible, unique views of the Hollywood sign to cherish as memories forever. And in addition, there were other things that I did in the Hollywood area, such as go to a Dodgers game, see some live music, go see the Fast and the Furious house, even try the In-N-Out burger, which is oh so famous. I visited Malibu, spent time on the beach, but this incredible trip has finally come to an end. I truly hope that you've shared in these memories with me and that you've enjoyed this video. As always, continue to seize life, and until next time, adios.